How are we friends?
Like, who first introduced us?
David McGuire.
David McGuire.
A builder.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how we met.
We started on downtown Odessa, little 8,000 square foot shop.
No, I helped y'all sell your first house too. Remember?
Yes,
After the building.
Was it after or
Yes,
before?
during the building.
It was during the building.
Yes.
Okay.
We had the house on the market and it wouldn't sell. And then you went in there and you're like, boom, 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 take this, take that, take that. 6 days later. Well, then we put it back on the market New Year's and 6 days later it was gone. Yay.
It was also timing. Don't give me too much credit. And then we did your collision center.
We did.
Which is beautiful.
Collision center, which is awesome.
Feels like a hotel. Feels
Everybody
like a fancy
loves it.
hotel.
Everybody loves
Get your
it.
car
Yep.
fixed.
Yes.
And then y'all couldn't get rid of me. Now we're friends.
Well, then we just became
Friends.
closer, and
Yeah.
you and Rosie hit it off so well, and she loves you, and I love you, and
Okay, that's what I
love
was like.
Kyle, and
Precious.
you make dinner for us. I love that.
I do. I will cook for you. I will
Introduce
always-
us to
crazy people.
other people. Yeah.
Some crazy people.
Yeah.
I will always cook dinner for you. Okay, so tell us, how did you get into a collision center? Like, what is the backstory on that? Because that's interesting. It's not like you just decide, hey, I'm going to own a collision center. It's not a franchise. It's not like, hey, I think I'm going to buy a Chick-fil-A. You can't do that. How'd you get into a collision center?
So right out of high school, I just started working for a dealership, and kind of started from the bottom and just started washing cars and became a lot attendant. And
What's a lot attendant?
well, you pretty much a gopher.
You're a gopher? I like it.
And it just became. I love the shop. I've always loved cars, always since I was a kid. And I think my dad and my two uncles have a lot to do with that. But it just evolved into a job. And then I worked for somebody for so long. I was like, I need to do this for myself. I don't see too many 50-year-old body shop managers around. Something's going to happen. So I met Rosie, and she's never said no. She's always supported my crazy ideas and my dreams. And
She's your Kyle.
that's it. She's my ride or die, and she just said, let's do it. And we started saving money.
That's how you started.
Saving money.
Started saving money.
Started saving money and saving money. And I got to the point to where we're ready, and Rosie's background just made, her background and my background, and we met it together and we opened up our business.
That's exciting. So what do you do? What do you do up there?
So I do all the accounting, all the bookwork, all the internal fun stuff.
Oh, that's the horrible stuff. I hate accounting. That's why sometimes I call Miss Rosie and I'm like, I have employees now and I've made mistakes. It's hard.
Well, it's been a learning process. I went from 100% oil field to automotive and had absolutely...
That's a learning curve.
Oh, it was something that was really scary for me. I didn't understand any terms, any automobile, anything. Everything had been construction or oil field.
How'd you learn it?
The automotive side?
Yeah.
Asking a lot of questions.
That's the way to learn.
Yeah, Gilbert was probably not blue, but purple in the face where he was sick.
How old were you
questions.
when you did that? When y'all started this, how old were y'all?
We're mid-30s. Mid-30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a lot of late nights just learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been fun. I've always enjoyed doing bookkeeping and financing and all accounting.
So you're that little girl that played by herself with a typewriter?
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Yeah.
And I would walk by
checks
and
out.
push down little girls like you. Just kidding. Hit you with my Barbie doll.
So when I was little, literally I would go with my mom and I would go with her to pay bills. And when I would get home, I'd set up this little box, and on top of that box was a little typewriter that was ordered from Sears at that time, Sears catalog, and I would set it out, and I would have rulers, and I would make my own journal entries and ledgers, and I didn't know what those were, but I just saw the ladies doing them wherever we were paying the bills, and so I was just kind of mimicking what they were doing and just set up my little phone, and it was great. Yeah.
That's hysterical. I've never heard that story.
Yeah.
That's great. I was cutting apart dolls. I'm not sure what that says about me. Yeah.
Cutting apart dolls.
I'm not sure why. I would take apart Cabbage Patches and I didn't put them back together. I wasn't playing doctor. I wasn't like healing them. I just wanted to know what was inside of them. I wanted to know what was in like their hair. How was the hair attached to the head? Like their eyes. I just wanted to know how they were put together. Wow. Isn't that? Mm-hmm. And then Legos. I just wanted Legos.
Nice.
Building.
Or macabre. It could go either way. So are you going to open? We've never had this conversation. Are you going to open an Epic Collision 2 in Midland or Monahans or Lubbock?
Yeah.
Have y'all conversated about it?
A lot, Brandy. And if I could figure out a way to cut her in half and put her over there and the other half over here, it'd be easy. But we've had a conversation. I think Midland is a great spot. I also think West Odessa is an even better spot. I mean, there's a lot of potential there.
It's growing out there.
Huge.
Somebody might be doing a development out there.
Yeah. So that's always an idea.
Because you have to dream big. You got to keep dreaming.
Well, I get a little antsy once I get to a certain point. That's like, what's next?
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
And Rosie's like, oh my God, here we go again. So
there should always be a measure of discontent with what you're doing.
I think that brings a lot of being content with now makes me nervous. And I always have to have what's the next goal, right? Is a dream a reality or is it just a dream?
Yeah.
So it's just constant moving as far as growing to leave something behind, right? For our family and our children. So
I like that. If you don't take the risk, you forfeit the miracle every time.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I just needed to know.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know, it was probably 2 months ago. I thought, I wonder if they're going to build another one somewhere. But I hadn't asked y'all.
We're
it just dawned
steadily outgrowing where we're at. So that's another conversation we've had about putting everything under one roof versus two separate buildings where we're in now. We're in the same location, but it'd be pretty neat and more efficient to work under one roof. But we'll see what future brings with our children going off to school now and just growing up. And
then y'all have to fall in love all over again because you will have empty nest syndrome very, very soon.
That'd be hard to do all over again when you've never fell out of love.
Oh my gosh.
Hang on, wait. Okay, so what would be a hard knock story that you could share about entrepreneurship? Like, what is something that you can go, wow, we screwed this up? Because one day when someone asked me, can I have some stories? Like, what are some stories where you just screwed up when you decided to be the executive producer of a television show with no background? I already have five areas I've screwed up so big. Where's an area that y'all just, where's a mistake that you've learned from?
Say your mistake and then I'll say mine.
We just did that. Kyle and I did that. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, you say this and I'll say this. Let's say if we say the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you go first?
Just the not knowing, right?
Yeah.
Like I grew up to where you work hard and you save your money and you pay your bills off and you save and save and save. Well, it's not that way. I grew up thinking I'm going to cash in my chips and I'm going to put my cash underneath my mattress, old school style, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not that way. What you make, you have to put back into the economy and not knowing, right? Coming from a first generation American.
Okay. What does that mean? Just for anyone
my parents are immigrants.
Okay.
Rosie's parents are immigrants.
Okay.
And people say, are you Hispanic or are you Mexican? No, I'm American. But my family comes from Mexico, right? And they're Mexican Americans now because now my parents are citizens. So we're backwards. We're American, but our family comes from Mexico, first generation.
Okay.
Right. And then, of course, my children are second generation, and then their children will be third. So
that's a cool heritage.
It is. It's we're super proud. We work super hard. And I think a majority of us are fearless of new things or change.
So back to your hiding money in the mattress. And investing.
Hide money under the mattress.
What lesson did you learn?
I learned that that's not the way America works.
Yeah.
America wants you to reinvest in the economy and be a part of it. And if you don't, then you get punished. So lost a lot of money the first year, not knowing what that was about. So that was my biggest mistake.
Okay. Yeah. But you made it once.
Made it once.
Some of my mistakes that I've already made, I've made 2 times.
What is one of your mistakes?
I have to tell you later. Wait till I'm at the successful point. Then I'll be like, oh, I did this, 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 and this. But I can tell you mistakes I've made as a designer. You know what I mean? Like, because I think when I closed my practice, I was, I think, at the height of my career, or hope it was pretty high up. So I was quite successful, obviously, as a designer. So I can look back at the mistakes I made and laugh about them now. I'm not sure the ones I'm currently making are that funny, because I'm just like, oh, did I just really do that? So anyway, okay. What is something that you think that y'all have done that you've learned from? Because sometimes people just need to hear, because it's scary to be an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurship is a very lonely place sometimes.
It is.
And so when people hear, okay, they're feeling the same way I am, or, oh my gosh, he made a huge mistake, it gives everybody else hope to go, okay, I'm perfectly normal. I did an Instagram post, I don't know, it was probably 2 or 3 months ago, that said, because I woke up one morning and I looked at Kyle and I went, what the heck am I doing? This is insane. What are we doing? And then he came home for lunch or something. I was like, and I had been planning out episodes. I was like, I'm the best idea ever. This is the best idea. And he was like, wow, I have like whiplash. And I was like, that's entrepreneurship. One minute you're like, this is the best idea I've ever had. And the next you're like, this is the worst idea I've ever had. You know what I mean? So it's this roller coaster. And all these people responded, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. Mm-hmm. And so I think sometimes it's nice to know you're not in this alone, but do it. It's worth it. Like, the risk is worth it, you know, and you're going to fail sometimes. You're going to screw it up. You know, I've already screwed up something with freaking taxes. I'm like, God, but it's worth it. Mm-hmm. So what would you say?
Oh gosh. There's a couple of things. One of them, you know, just coming from my heart, being a mom, you know, is just the unbalance.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And every mom feels it.
Yeah. I just feel like there's, it's okay. It's okay to have your dream and work hard, and also not have that balance at the beginning, but then realize that there's a balance that's needed, and always commit yourself to that balance. That was a hard knock for me.
Mine too. That's part of my story.
That's a good one.
But a lot of working parents do that. It's a season. Yes. So there's seasons. It's no season's going to look the same. You're going to have one season where you are giving it 100%, especially with startups, new projects. And then you look back and go, oh, did I miss something? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that was a bad season. Right. Because you wouldn't have learned or become who you are now, because you are an amazing parent. Oh, thank you. Are invested, and your kids feel it. And you might not have gotten that if you hadn't have spent a season. Sometimes I think it's better to spend the season when they're little, you know, and that's just there's no psychology behind that, but because they need you when they're older too.
And I think a lot will help them in the future, because they went through that sacrifice, that they also understand that if they have to go through that season, it's going to be okay. Yeah. They're going to find that balance too.
And they also saw y'all working towards something, because sometimes people just work towards things. Mm-hmm. They're just acquiring things, and it's important to y'all that y'all give back. So they're watching it, you know. That's good. Yeah,
hope so.
Every mom.
It's true what Rosie says. I mean, Rosie's been super firm on balance and family and work, right? And we don't bring it home. We work together. And a lot of people say, well, how do y'all work together? How do y'all stand to be around each other so much? I think it's actually brought us closer.
How come?
I think when we first got married and together and I was managing another store, I think she just thought I would just kind of tell people what to do and fix this, but don't fix that. And then she'd get off at 3 working for somebody else. So she'd want me at home by 6 to help with the children. Well, I was mentally exhausted. It took the first week of us being in business together for her to apologize and understand what it's like to run a shop, right? Multiple people, multiple vehicles and customers and insurance companies. And, but where I wanted to say is, her keeping us grounded as far as, hey, this is the time for work and this is the time for our family. And our kids grew up in the shop. They're shop rats. We'd pick them up, right? Bring them to the shop. They'd do homework.
Because y'all built an apartment at the top of your shop. I would know this because I was their designer. Very cushy little apartment so that after school, the kids could be with them, but still have a home type environment.
Which
and
we
I
ended
admired that.
Moving into.
Yes.
We ended up moving into in 11 months while this place was getting redone. But I think us being in that position made us realize that we're in this together.
Yeah.
So it worked out. You know, we're still tight. We still have dinner together every night. But it was super humbling to live upstairs of your business, you know, not having a washer and dryer, having one restroom, one shower, one TV, futon for a bed.
Fancy. You have a much nicer mattress now, I can assure you.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give to a couple that wants to start a business together? So, because you're both technically entrepreneurs. I mean, you're both entrepreneurs. You went in together, you know, with a business. Kyle and I will be starting a business in 2024. He is going to be an entrepreneur with me. What advice would you give us? Like, what advice would you give entrepreneurs that are husband and wife that are doing something together?
Establish boundaries.
Ooh, like what?
In everything.
Okay.
In everything. Rosie handles her department and I handle my department. Rosie handles her team. I handle my team, and we don't get involved in each other's. Now we have conversations about each other's, but that boundary's never crossed.
That's cool. Because you trust each other to handle your own business.
Absolutely.
So trust your partner.
I don't get involved on the finance side, and she doesn't get involved in the production side. We trust each other.
How about you? What would you say to a husband and wife starting a new business together?
Believe in yourselves. I completely, I know this may sound a little bit arrogant, but I was fearless, only because I'd been at the bottom before, you know, eating SpaghettiOs.
You're not afraid. That's not arrogant. I'm not afraid of much.
Fish sticks.
Oh yeah, I've eaten fish sticks. I used to feed my children fish sticks.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been hungry. I tell people, they're like, you were closing your design practice? Like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, God, that's crazy. I'm like, I've been hungry before.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's not arrogance. Yeah. That's humility, honestly. It's the opposite of arrogance.
That's good to hear, because I don't want to sound arrogant. But I knew Gilbert had what it took to make it happen. He had made it happen for 2 other dealerships and had no doubt in my mind. And I just put all my chips in and I said, I am here and I'm going in with you. And if we fall, what's the worst we can do?
Yeah.
Dust ourselves off and go work for someone else or start all over. But I was fearless and determined.
Yeah. We're supposed to be fearless. And the definition of fearless meaning, when the fears come, you move past them. Fearless doesn't mean the fears are not there. It just means you don't let them stop you.
Right.
Okay, what do you know about yourself now that you didn't when you started your business?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I've matured a lot more, for sure, right? I don't shoot off the hip like I used to.
Yeah.
I sit back and think about what I'm going to do before I just pull my pistol out and
ready, fire, aim.
Mm-hmm. You know, from Texas, you kind of get used to that and you make decisions on the fly. But when you have a staff of 30 plus people, and your decision is going to affect the entirety of that group, you kind of slow down and kind of think about things a little better.
How about you, Miss Rosie? What do you know about yourself now that you didn't before you started your business?
Oh my goodness. That I've found myself, that I know who I want to be, and I'm not on that tightrope trying to find out which way I want to go. Mm-hmm. I've found my people. I found my friends. I know who I want to be and where I want to be.
Yeah.
Where I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's part of moving past 40 too. Like when you get a little bit past 40, you're like,
What?
Yeah.
We're 40?
Oh my goodness.
When that happened?
Not you. I know she's a cradle robber. I heard the stories.
No, I am.
Tell us where we can find Epic Collision.
Epic's located on the corner of John Ben Shepherd and Highway 80, Odessa, Texas.
Is there a website?
There is a website.
What is it?
epiccollision.net.
Very good.
So,
and you can Google them. And I love these people, so you should bring them your business because they're good people. Is there anything that y'all would want to add that we didn't cover?
I have a saying.
Okay.
And Rosie's changed the word on me, but I'm going to say it my way.
Okay.
There's no greater motivation than growing up humble.
Low
You like that?
Yeah.
Somebody's calling me.
That is perfect. Okay. But now you have to re-say it because you know I'm ADHD. So there's no way we couldn't acknowledge your ringtone is lowrider.
Yes.
So what is your saying?
There's no greater motivation than growing up poor.
Yeah. And you changed it to humble.
And she changed it to humble.
Okay. I'm with you. I would probably say there's no greater motivation than growing up poor.
No.
Because being hungry. I've been hungry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it is humble. Yours is lovelier. Your version is lovelier.
I just feel like poor is a real
derogatory term towards others.
Not so much, just like a place in our heart where there was a place of loneliness and maybe hurt, and just a place that is just a place that
I can see that.
Yeah, where you just don't want to be for too long.
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to be there for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's good. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you, Miss
I love
Brandy.
y'all. Y'all are my friend.
We love you.
Kyle's going to be sad that he wasn't here. He thinks me and Miss Rosie are baking in the kitchen. Too bad, so sad, Carl.